We are from Group Purple, and we're gonna have a discussion. But before I proceed, my name is Thivagar Pushparaju with metric number B20EM0041, and I'll be your moderator for today.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, I am Muhammad SYAZWAN HAKIMI bin RUZAIMI with metric number A19EM0335.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is ZULHUSNI AZFAR bin HAZMAI with metric number A19EM0487.
Hi, hello guys. Good evening. My name is NURAMIRAH BINTI ABDULAMIRUDIN. My matrix number is A19EM0390.
The topic of discussion is there's an offer for our group to do a 3-month internship in an international company with 7 branches worldwide. You'll be given an allowance of only 1,000 ringgit Malaysia per month and a free hostel facility. But your choices will subject it to the vacancies at the place. Okay, so the 7 branches are located at Cairo, Egypt, Helsinki, Finland, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Nairobi, Kenya, Doha, Qatar, Melbourne, Australia, Taipei, Taiwan. And as a group, we have to discuss and rank the cities from the least preferred to most preferred as a place for our internship. So rank number 7 will be the least preferred city, and rank number 1 will be the most preferred city. So maybe we can start off with SYAZWAN.
Okay, my least preferred city to perform my internship is Helsinki, Finland. All right. Let me tell you a bit about Helsinki. In 2018, Helsinki is ranked number 1 in the Index of Happiness, in which, in terms of work-life balance, Helsinki is your best choice with only 35 to 40 hours of working hour per week, which means it is stress-free. And also, since it is located in Europe, it is one of countries in EU, so English is often being used. And in terms of public transportation, Helsinki has a system called Helsinki Regional Transport Authority, an organization which authorizes buses, tram, metro, commuter train, and ferry services. So all this with all these traits, Helsinki should be a good choice, but you have to consider other aspects of the city too. The main factors that make me consider Helsinki as the least favorable choice is, first, it is a culturally homogeneous country in which most of the citizens of Finland, of Helsinki, of the same race, in which I would say European. So they are not familiar with the multicultural lifestyle. There are cases in which Islamophobia being the bad issue in this country. So as a Muslim, this will not be my choice. And also in terms of living a life there, the cost of living is very high, because the internship allowance that will be given to us is 1,000 ringgit. If we convert it to euro, it will only have less than less than a quarter of the value, in which 1 euro is equivalent to 4 ringgit and 63 cents, in which for one meal it will cost you 12 euros, which is equivalent to 55 ringgit. So according to my rough calculation, you will only survive 17 days upon receiving your allowance, and you will have to stop for another 13 days. So that's why I think Finland, in the city of Helsinki, is not a good choice for us to do our internship. So what do you guys think?
I think I do agree with the cost living aspect, but in my personal opinion, I think my least preferred choice for the internship is in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Even though Brazil is known for its large rainforests, wide sandy beaches, and beautiful people, I think from my perspective, it has a lot of disadvantages there. First and foremost, this is due to its cost of living, just like SYAZWAN said in Finland. In Brazil, if I want to, based on my research, if I want to rent a flat, it will cost around 600 to 800 US dollar per month, which is from my rough calculation, it is around 3.5k ringgit Malaysian. For me, it is very expensive, especially for interns like me to survive for 3 months there. Furthermore, Brazil has a reputation as a dangerous country, which is not completely unearned. It has the seventh rate in the world with exceptionally high rates of violent crime. I think it is not a safe place for newcomers to stay there for, especially for us interns, to stay there for a short period of time. How do you guys think?
Okay, very good point to intern at Melbourne, Australia. I do agree. But let's see, Zulhusni, do you have anything to say about that? And what is your most preferred city?
Personally, I do agree with SYAZWAN point that say in Helsinki, in Australia, it has a very good work-life balance, because as the future workers, work-life balance is very important for our mental health. But I also have my own city that I want to intern, my own preferred city, which is Taipei, located in Taiwan. First and foremost, my reasons, because correct me if I'm wrong, of all several countries, Taiwan is the nearest country to Malaysia because it is still in the ASEAN region. It means that the transportation costs, especially flights, tickets, will be cheaper than in other countries. Hence, we can save our money for other things to spend there. In terms of cost of living, I do make some research about it. Taipei got a high cost living if you compare it in Malaysia. I point out this because the cost for one bedroom apartment will cost 19,500 NT per month, which is approximately 2.9k ringgit Malaysia. I think for 3 months it is very for me expensive. Other than that, as a Muslim, access to halal food is one of the most crucial things that need to be considered for me to travel overseas. In Taipei, it is easy to get access to halal food because there is a lot of halal food restaurant. Since Taipei itself has around 30,000 Muslims there, so I think to daily eat in Taiwan, it is not a big problem for interns like me.
In my opinion, my least preferred country is Doha, Qatar. I want to focus on the conversion rate first. One Qatarian rial is equal to 1 ringgit Malaysian, which I think is a high conversion rate, but still lower compared to Australia and Finland. So I think that's why I choose Qatar above than Finland. Other than that, can apply Qatar business visa for internship because for stay period of 90 days, which is their working hours, maximum of 48 hours per week or total of 8 hours per day for 6 days. What I think good about Doha is that they have this labor law, which they should not work more than 5 consecutive hours. There should be an interval for prayer, rest, and taking meals. Another good side about Doha is that they have a really cheap meal, like for cheap restaurant, 30 Qatari riyal per meal, which is 37 Malaysian ringgit, which I think is still bearable with 1,000 Malaysian ringgit per month. Other than that, for me, Muslim, I think Doha is good because they has large Muslim community, which easy to get halal food, and also vegan. They have a lot of street food and traditional food choice. I think the most familiar with us is Indian and Arabian cuisine like kunafa, shawarma, panipuri. I think that's why I think Doha is good. However, why I least prefer Doha is because Doha have extreme heat weather. Although Malaysian, we already used to hot weather, but they can reach until more than 40 degrees Celsius. Other than that, since Doha is a large city, so they have very bad traffic.
Based on the discussion, I would say the least preferred the ranking from below to above will be Rio at the bottom right now, Helsinki, and Doha on top. But I also feel that Nairobi, Kenya at the bottom, the least preferred, because based on my research, to be honest, I don't have anything good to say about the city. The ranking is already good, but I feel like the most bottom should be Nairobi, Kenya, because of these criminal incidents and terrorist attack. Even the emergency medical and also like the fire services are very much limited. Okay, and also the terrorism attack there is actually increasing. They will actually occur with little or no warning at all. And we are working in a multinational company, so this is one of a very high risk attack place, for this terrorist. Okay, and the lastly is kidnapping. Although we are adults, but I think kidnapping is just not prone to children. It's also happened to adults also, right? So just to give you some fun fact, from 2016 to 2020, a total of 780 children were reported missing. Until today, 190 of them are still missing. So based on this research that I did, I really feel that Nairobi, Kenya should be at the least bottom, Rio de Janeiro should be above it, Helsinki, and Doha, Qatar.
I really agree with the position of Kenya being the lowest ranked in this discussion, because with unstable politics, all these factors that Thivagar mentioned just now, it all becomes prevalent, because with unstable politics, there will be um, division of the people, and the region will be unstable. So hence the crime rate will increase. Also, I've heard that even the authorities will compromise with criminals or the terrorists to avoid any further confrontation. So yeah, Kenya is the least favorite in this discussion. So what about we shift the discussion to a more favorable choice? What do you think, Thivagar?
Okay, I think we'll just do a round table. Just see whether ZULHUSNI and Amira ranking agree with the ranking of the 4 cities. If you all agree, we can proceed to the top 3 most preferred cities. ZULHUSNI?
Oh, in my own opinion, I think I agree with you after hearing the criminal cases in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you.
Okay, what about Amira?
Yeah, I think because you already said about the crime rate, that is something that I do not want to go through while doing my internship. So I agree with Thivagar to Kenya as the least preferred.
Okay, so we already have our bottom 4 cities. So let's go with the top 3 cities of our internship place. So shall we start the discussion with Shazwan? Like what would be your, I would say the most highest, first choice lah, in a way, the city.
All right. So my first choice will be the city of Melbourne, located in Australia, because I really like to point out about this point. The work-life balance is really important to me because I don't prefer a stressful lifestyle. So in terms of ranking, Melbourne is located number 14 in the list of index of happiness, with working hours of averaging 38 hours a week. So in terms of communication, in terms of language, they, of course, Australian, we all know English will be the main communication medium, because there will be a lot of conversation going on at work and out of work, because we are living in a community with that speaks the language. Also, it is an advantage to us because English is already our second language in Malaysia, because we've been studying English since we were 6, we were 7 when we stepped into school. In terms of culture, Melbourne, or generally Australia, is primarily influenced by Western culture, with strong impact from with strong influence from the Great Britain, and Western cultures also promote equal right and opportunities. So being the outsider in the country with such mindset or such perception is quite an advantage. And I really have a lot to talk about Australia, but one thing to point out is that in Australia, in Australia itself, there are 148,760 Malaysian staying in Australia, which means that we already have a Malaysian community which is originated in Australia. So as a Malaysian, we will have the advantage of being supported by this community. Also, we have Malaysian Hall, in which an organization or a location that is supported by Malaysian foreign affair there in Australia. So as an intern, as a student with formal purposes coming to Australia, it will be an honor, if it will be an advantage for us if we have this kind of access in Australia.
Okay, good point, ZULHUSNI. Just to add, actually, yeah, it's true that the living cost is a bit high. You know, rental per month is high for a 1-bedroom apartment. But thank God, our company provides our facility to stay in. Yeah, so I think that shouldn't be a problem. And okay, I do agree. So far, right now we have 2 cities. So the left is Cairo, Egypt. Yeah, so Amira, do you have anything to say about that city?
Okay, firstly, I want to say I agree with Zul point about Taipei, Taiwan. It is important to have good access to halal food. Other than that, I think Taiwan has a lot of street food, which is fine, as we don't have much allowance. But in my opinion, I most prefer Cairo. Okay, firstly because the the conversion rate is much lower than other cities. 1 Malaysian ringgit is equal to 4.27 Egyptian pound. Thus, with Cairo has lower cost of living than Malaysia. Other than that, it is important to know that maximum working hours of 8 hours per day or total of 48 hours per week for 6 days. Although I think in Malaysia we do internship for 5 days, but if the pay is good, then I think it's fine. In terms of food, they have a lot of cheap street food, with the price range between 70 cents until 5 Egyptian pound, which is average below 2 Malaysian ringgit. I think that's very cheap because it is not easy to get below 2 Malaysian ringgit food in Malaysia. So other than that, they has same as in Doha, Qatar, they have a large Muslim community, which also make it easy to get halal food. They also have 24 hours delivery service. In terms of attraction, they are known for Center of the Culture, Art and Beauty. They have one of the 7 of the world wonders, which is Pyramids of Giza. I think which is nice during non-working hours, we can go to see attraction for the ancient or historical building, which with unique architecture, especially in Islamic history. Cairo also has Nile River passing through the Cairo. So you can ride the cruise or river bus to enjoy the scenery. In terms of public transportation, I think it's same as most European country, like they have minibus, public bus, Cairo metro, tram, train, and taxi, with average does not cost more than 50 Malaysian ringgit. However, I think Cairo is not that good compared to Melbourne, because since Cairo is the capital city, they have frequently traffic jam and public bus and train always packed. Other than that, local drivers also does not follow road rules. Like they drive unpredictable and just hectically driving all over the lines.
Okay, so I actually agree. Of these three, these 3 cities is totally the top choices of mine. I must say that I'm not a suburb kind of person. I love the city vibe. So my preferred ranking will be Cairo, Egypt, the 3rd place. Second would be Melbourne, Australia, and the top will be what do you call that? Taipei, Taiwan. So what do you guys think about this ranking of mine? SYAZWAN, let's start off with SYAZWAN.
Yeah, I really like the idea of cheap street food in Cairo. Because right, so considering that we don't have to pay anything anymore for our accommodation, 1,000 ringgit is actually enough for us to have a good living in Cairo, because I believe that the price for every meal is gonna be just above 2 ringgit, because the price for a decent meal will be slightly higher than cheap street food. So like if we are to survive a month with 100 ringgit and 4,027 Egyptian pound, that will be sustainable. But yeah, considering the risk of terrorism and bomb attack in Cairo, it is quite an minus point for Cairo to be my choice. And also the traffic jams, and it is quite an disadvantage too, because in Melbourne, Australia, they have a free tram zone, in which we don't have to pay a MyKey through pay via MyKey. MyKey is basically an Australian version of Touch and Go. If we are just traveling around the city center, which extends from Queen Victoria Market to Dockland, Spring Street, Flinders Street Station, and Federal Square. So, like, in terms of transportation, I think the mobility in Melbourne is good, but the cost of living is in Cairo is more sustainable. So what do you guys think? I'm still quite hesitant with my choice.
For me, actually, at first sight, I do agree with I want to change my most preferred city from Taipei to Cairo. But after, because of the work etiquette that based on Islam, as Muslims, we must pray 5 times a day. So since in Cairo, majority they are Muslims, I think it is not a problem if I want to perform my prayer during my work time. But after hearing point that SYAZWAN point out about the terrorists, I feel very unsafe and very danger to do my internship in Cairo. So I will stick to my choice for Taipei as my most preferred city. Number 3 is Cairo, I think, and number 2 is Melbourne.
Okay, firstly, I still think Taipei is better than Cairo. I think I forget to mention, though Cairo has good living costs, lower living costs, and we can purchase the food. But Cairo have a lot of downside also. Like, firstly, it is known for it's not safe for women. There is a possibility of harassment, being catcalled, and stared by others, which I think make me feel like not choosing Cairo. Other than that, based on my research, according to the overall score from Economy Safe Cities Index 2019, Cairo was ranked as the 55th place, which is lower than Kuala Lumpur at 35th place, which I think make me want to choose Taipei.
I will also agree, because comparing Australia, Melbourne, Australia, and Cairo, Egypt, I do prefer Melbourne better. So number 1 would be Taipei, number 2 would be Melbourne, Australia, number 3 would be Cairo, Egypt. How much, husband?
Yeah, I'm still sticking to my previous statement. My number 1 will be Taipei, Taiwan. Number 2, Melbourne, and number 3, Cairo.
Okay, that's good. ZULHUSNI, what do you guys think?
Yes, I think I will stick to my preferred city, and I will not make any U-turn. Taipei is still the most preferred in my list.
Okay, looks like we already decide the ranking from number 1 to number 7. So I'll just repeat. The most preferred city would be Taipei, Taiwan, followed by Melbourne, Australia, Cairo, Egypt, Doha, Qatar, Helsinki, Finland, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and number 7, Nairobi, Kenya. Give me a thumbs up if you guys agree with the ranking. All right. Thank you so much, guys. It was really a good discussion, and have a nice day. All right. Goodbye.